गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. We are in Kathopanishad. We are just recapping, and we left at our verse number 10. This is part 1, chapter 3, verse number 10. Indriyebhya parahyartha अर्थेभ्यश्च परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः बुद्धिरात्मा महान् परः. And here what is told is the superlative degrees of subtlety, and here it is told that beyond the senses are the sense objects, and beyond these objects is the mind, beyond the mind is the intellect, and beyond the intellect is the mahat, mahan paraha. Mahan para is mahat. Mahat tattva is the total intellect. And here when we look at beyond the senses are the sense objects. See, remember, this is the question of our Nachiket, and that is being answered, and Bhagwan is Lord of Death. He is very, very inspired to guide the student to the truth. Has he seen the truth? Can you see the truth? Can you hear the truth? Can you smell the truth? Can you taste the truth? I'm asking. From where we are right now? Tell me, Mrs. Chellam, tell me.
Truth doesn't have, truth is beyond all the senses.
Okay.
Senses.
Yes. So, senses do not have, individual senses or collectively put together, do not have the capacity to reveal the truth, to experience the truth, even though at any given moment, the element that is pervading the senses and the sense object is nothing but existence. But they, being inert, they cannot experience, be it. In senses being too fickle, they are unable to, or being inert, they cannot perceive it. And here when we ask this question, beyond the senses are the sense object, meaning greater than the senses are the sense objects. How come this is so? Did you ask this question? That how come the senses are greater than the sense objects? How many eyes do we have? Two. 2 eyes. How many eyes can they see? Many eyes. So the objective eye, out there, so many bodies with so many eyes, so many forms, so many colors. And what are we? Our senses, only one eye. So naturally, the the sense objects which are made out of, which are there. Now take another way. If sense objects are not there, if sense objects are not there, would we have any purpose of our senses? If no sound is there, what will the ears do? They become null and void. If no colors and forms are there, what will the eyes do? They have become null and void. If there is nothing to taste, what will the tongue do? Become null and void, and so on. So our senses are dependent on sense objects. Therefore, this is another angle. Last, if you go to the lecture few months ago or lectures back in the YouTube, we approached it in a different way. Today, in a different manner. Meaning is the same. So sense objects are greater in number, and the senses, they are dependent on the sense objects, and therefore sense objects are greater than the senses. What is greater than the sense objects? The greater than the sense objects is the mind. Without the mind alone, on one hand has become the senses, on the other hand has become the sense objects. Effect can never come to know the cause. Neither the senses can come to know the mind, nor the sense objects can come to know the mind. Nor, one more thing. Someone tell me, what is one more thing that cannot come to know the mind? Hello? Tell me one more thing. This is how, when you are doing satsang, suddenly the brainwave comes. Tell me. Senses cannot come to know the mind. Sense objects cannot come to know the mind. What else cannot come to know the mind? I will add one more. Breath cannot come to know the mind. But there is one more thing which cannot come to know the mind. What is that? Don't look outside or imagine in your memory. Look right now within yourself.
Itself,
yes?
the mind itself can't know the mind.
Mind, close, put it in another words.
Intellect?
No. Where intellect? Intellect is the cause of the mind. Thoughts cannot come to know the mind. If thoughts try to think about the mind, the container, the thoughts vanish.
Yes. I thought.
And beyond the mind is the intellect. Beyond the mind is this, our, one moment. And so beyond this mind, अरे यार क्या हो गया? Sorry, I'm just. So beyond the mind is the intellect. Intellect is that, we have told you, which mind just presents the stimuli which the senses brings to it, and it offers it at the feet of the intellect. Here is the sorting department. Do whatever you need to do with it. The intellect puts it into various folders, into various files, into various convictions, into various beliefs, into various memories. This is one way of looking at it. Or another way is, intellect is where the I appears, and that is the reflected consciousness, and without it the mind cannot function. And the last part here is told that greater than the intellect is the Mahan Paraha. Mahan Para is the great self, is not the infinite self. Great self is the great creator, the great, it is subtler than the intellect. So, senses and the sense objects are grosser than the mind. Mind is grosser than the intellect. Individual intellect is grosser than the total intellect. That total intellect is the creator, the great self. Here, we as individuals are identified with this body, with these senses, with this mind. What will be the great self? What is his disposition? He is identified with all the bodies, all the senses. We, as individual intellect, we have a specific conviction. And what is that specific conviction? I am only this body, and from here this our world begins. And what is the position of the great self? I am everywhere.
One.
There's nothing outside of me. So withdraw yourself to that great self. We withdraw ourselves from the senses, we withdraw ourselves from the objects. Very important. If we have not withdrawn ourselves from the, I will explain that later. Here it just says this is the degree how we must engage ourselves. We have to keep seeking ourselves to be greater than who we are today at this moment. And in this manner, he does not stop here in the 11th verse. In the 11th verse, Mahata param avyaktam avyaktat purushah paraha purushanna param kinchit sakashta sa paragatihi. He says here that Mahatav param avyaktam, greater, subtler. Remember one more thing. Whatever is greater is subtler, is finer. Sukshma, the word subtle means sukshma. See? So, subtler than the senses and the sense object is the mind. Sense object you can touch, see, hear, touch, feel, taste. Mind, can you see, hear, touch, feel, taste? Mind full of thoughts. Intellect, only I thought. Immaterial various convictions. They are all born out of, in the mind, out of this sense of I. What will be the status of that I if it keeps thinking? What would it be like to merge into the great self? What will be the disposition of wave B, which is thinking? What would it be if I merge into the ocean? What is the disposition of the ocean? I alone am. From ocean's point of view, just like in your body, you may use my 10 fingers, leg, right, left hand, right hand, but your sense is I alone am pervading the entire variety that this body is. Exactly the same way. It is even one, there it comes to as silence. No communication is required. Just like in your case also, you don't need to keep reminding yourself, I am the right hand also, I am the left hand also, I am the leg also, I am the head also. I am stupid also, I am intelligent also, I am hungry also, I am sleepy also. You don't remind. Same way, the total, Mahat. Mahat is a state where all possibilities, the total, the total intellect is a state. No, not all possibility. Well, I should say, yeah, it is a state where the all the possibilities are in their nascent stage. Just like the seed is ready to sprout but has not sprouted yet. Life is throbbing inside the seed. You must have seen when you make these sprouts at home. You put some water, wash it, then drain it, cover it with a wet cloth, and leave it overnight. Depending upon what grain you are using, it starts, it is like this, it becomes bulged. You can't see the sprouts, but by the size of the bulge of that grain, you know, or the mothers know, that in another 4-5 hours the sprouts will come, or it will require another night. Why? Because it is cold, so it will require another night. If it is hot, it will come out quicker. But all possibilities, the possibility of the whole tree, the possibility of the whole tree with all its limbs, roots, trunk, branches, leaves, fruits, seeds, and not only one, infinite number of leaves, infinite branches, infinite seeds, flowers. All that possibility is present in that bulged seed. That bulged seed is called Mahat. That bulged, which is that seed which is throbbing with possibilities. Everything is available. That is called, another word for it is Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb. Just like a mother is carrying a child in the tummy, the entire, all, when it is a zygote, it's very small, just single cellular organism. Slowly, all the limbs come. Then when it comes out and it sprouts, means she gives birth, then whole life is in front of it. What he is going to do or she is going to do or not going to do, or what it is going to become or not become, all that is that potential, that possibility. The mother does not know what the possibility of that child is. What is he going to become? So they go to astrologers. But Hiranyagarbha, Brahmaji, another word for him. So Brahmaji, the creator. Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb. Mahat Tattva or Mahan Paraha, Mahan. Another, these three different names are there. We have to raise our consciousness to that. And this is not the final goal. Oh my God, even more after that, yes. I thought being one with everything and everyone is the ultimate. Yeah. There is something beyond it. And what is beyond that? Here it says, Mahatah Param Avyaktam, greater and subtler. The cause of Mahat, The cause of the senses and the sense object was the mind. The cause of the mind was the intellect. The cause of the individual intellect is the total intellect, the Mahat Tattva or the Hiranyagarbha. The cause of this Mahat is Avyakta. Avyakta means unmanifest. What do you mean by this? Unmanifest. It has, the intellect has, somewhere this whole cosmos must have come from. Where has it come from? If we have the guts, if we have the courage, if we have the inquisitiveness like the rishis, then we'll make that as the goal of our life and we'll search for what is the source of life. It can't be outside. And automatically one will go through these stages. Mahatah param avyaktam. Avyakta means unmanifest. At an individual level, what is unmanifest? Deep sleep state is unmanifest state. Out of it, the dream comes, the subtle state. See? Out of it, the waking comes, the gross state. But where did these both subtle and gross come from? What did we say? Indriya, the cause of the senses and the sense objects was the mind. You have senses in the mind, in the dream also. You have sense objects in the dream also. Which mind? Are you in the dream of the dreamer, or the dream world is the dream of the waker? Which one? This was the question of our Janak Maharaj when he was facing Ashtavakra. I had a dream of a butterfly, and my question, sir, is, am I in the dream of the butterfly, or butterfly is in my dream? So is the dream in the mind of the waker, or waker is in the mind of the dreamer? Then pull your hair out, go mad, and Eureka will happen. Don't think in this question will come. If you are sincerely seeking this question, you can't bypass this question. So when we are only looking, gross comes from subtle, subtle comes from causal. That same causal, the unmanifest, the nothingness at the totality level is called as avyakta, or avyakrita, or prakriti. See? So in our scriptures, okay, that point I'll tell you in the next means the last one. Avyaktat purushav paraha. And what is the cause of what is greater than the unmanifest is the whole experience. Am I a nothingness? Each one of you ask yourself, am I a nothingness? Am I emptiness? Mind can be empty. Senses can be blank. Mind can be silent. But am I empty, or am I conscious? What am I? If our answer is that no, how can I be nothing? I am conscious. I am giving validity to everything. Eyes don't see for themselves. Eyes don't say that, oh, this is eyes don't say I am seeing a laptop. Mouth doesn't say I am giving a lecture. Ears don't say I am hearing this. It is someone behind these senses who is saying, I am seeing. That who is this I? That here also at the individual level, that I is called the Purusha Tattva, the I principle. Same thing, same I at the beyond the Prakriti, beyond the unmanifest. It is in the presence of this I that the mind is functioning. It is in the presence of the Purusha, the infinite I, the Supreme Person, that the Prakriti functions. Our goal in life is to come to that Purusha, to be that Purusha. He is expressing through us right now also. Just as the infinite waters are expressing through the ocean, as the ocean, through the waves, as the waves, and yet not disturbed by the ocean or the wave. Whether they are there or not there, it matters zilch for the water. Whether the water is expressing as ice, or it is expressing as water, or it is expressing as steam, it does not matter to it. If it evaporates, no problem, it will again precipitate. Nothing is gained, nothing is lost. By the appearance of ocean and waves and ice and water vapors, nothing is created and nothing is lost from the water's point of view, from H2O point of view. And how do we live life? We want to be spiritual and we are worried about every small damn thing. We are worried about our survival. We are worried about our phobias. We are worried about our health. Nothing wrong. Go and do all this. Go to the doctor. But giving value to it, that you have to orient the mind in the correct manner. In the big picture, nothing matters. Only the Supreme Person is. Coming to the Supreme Person is realization. Yoga, as one master says, it can help you only up till the individual intellect in coming to the I, not thereafter. And that is what will be told. Purushanna param kinchit sakashta sa paragatihi. Purushanna param kinchit. Now the question will be, Acha, you have been saying this again and again and again. This is greater than this. This is the cause of this. This is the cause of this. What is the cause of the Purusha? What is the cause of the Supreme Person? There is no cause of the Supreme Person. The buck stops there. Otherwise, it will regress ad infinitum. When you are standing in a room of mirrors, you look at yourself. How far can you see? Infinite number of reflections if you are standing between two mirrors. Which is the last one? Can you find out the last one? As a child, we all must have done that experiment. Tried to count. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then after some time, the head starts whirling and you come out of the room. You are the one. That Supreme Person is the one. And after that, Purushanna Param Kinchit. Thereafter, this Supreme Purusha, the Supreme Consciousness, there is no cause beyond it. It is Supreme Consciousness is not an effect of something or anything. It is full stop. In its presence, the Avyakta, the unmanifest, the Prakriti, the Maya, from unmanifest, she becomes manifest. How does she manifest? She manifests as the Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb. In that, all the possibilities of the Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are there. But they have not become differentiated yet. Everything, all the possibilities are there, but inside. When the womb cracks open, the first manifestation is the creator we have already seen, but he gets a form now, Brahmaji. Second one is Vishnu. Third is Shiva. Or if you want to put it in another way, don't go the godly way. When the womb cracks open, out of it come all the beings, all the possibilities. And you are one of them. And you have taken other possibilities as real and crystallized yourself that I am only this possibility. This body is the only possibility I am. And thereafter the trouble begins. That is called samsar, chakra. We have to escape this intelligently, not by suicide. So foolishly, one possibility we are the in total, and foolishly we have taken one and identified with it. In fact, we are not even the total, we are beyond. And these are the various stages that one goes through as they begin contemplating. See, when many years ago, how many now? 25, 26 years ago, I used to sit in my room in meditation, and that time this question was there. That yes, I know I am the consciousness. I am, full stop, no doubt about it. But why I am complete I am on the seat of meditation. Why I am not that way, that freedom, that independence, that oneness with because there is nothing, I feel I am free. But why that sense of freedom, that sense of abundance, that sense of purity, why does that not express when I come out of meditation? Suddenly the variety appears and I lose the sense of the pure I that I am. This further journey from intellect to the total intellect, from total intellect to the unmanifest, from unmanifest to the Supreme Person, this is possible only through Vedanta. Therefore, by God's grace, life just turned and took me in that direction. Because it will happen only if you are searching, only if you are inquisitive, jigyasa, urge to know what is the source of everything, just like our Nachiket. Are we hungry for it? So now we come to the 12th verse. एष सर्वेषु भूतेषु गूढोत्मान प्रकाशते दृश्यते त्वग्र्यया बुद्ध्या सूक्ष्मया सूक्ष्मदर्शिभिः. See, because this state of supreme truth, the supreme person, the supreme reality, it is beyond what? It is beyond nothingness. By the time you have come to nothingness, the words don't function, the thoughts don't function, the experiences don't function, nothing, because you have gone beyond the body. Not only the individual body, the total body of the Mahat Tattva also you have gone beyond. You have gone beyond the total body, the total self, which was experiencing the total body, the cosmic person, to the unmanifest. And you have gone beyond unmanifest to be the person, supreme person. So, yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. There is no way of communicating to yourself. If we are alert at this moment to this thought, to this discourse, to these words of the Upanishad, there may come a doubt that if I can't talk about it, if I can't ideate it, then is it there? That which is beyond the mind, is it there? For this purpose, this 12th verse is there. And a person who's very gross. Now I'll ask you, I know you know the answer. I'm only teaching myself and reminding myself again and again. The waker, gross state, dream, the subtle state, deep sleep, the unmanifest state. There is a waker, there is a dreamer, there is a sleeper. Is there someone beyond these three? Is there someone beyond these three? Right now, we are talking only in words. In Samadhi, where the mind is absolutely silent and you still are, you are the consciousness. You know you are. But when you come out of Samadhi, you try to articulate what was that experience that I had? Where was I? What was I? When was I? All vocabulary leaves you. And until and unless we haven't had that experience to appreciate only intellectually what the total self is and what the supreme truth or the supreme person which is beyond the unmanifest is just a shot in the dark. It will never click. I shouldn't say it will never click. It can click to anyone, anytime. I pray that it should click to you all. We may be intellectually convinced, but experientially zero. Then we give lectures like we are giving. So here to allay the doubts that is Atma there, is that Supreme Person there, or is just a figment of imagination, that beyond the unmanifest there is the Supreme Person. It says, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotmana prakashate drishyate tvagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. This Atman, hidden, what is this Atman? This Atman, is it only in you? Is the consciousness only present in you? Or is the consciousness expressing through every being, every sentient being in this creation or subtle creation? Think. When does this thought, I think it came in Amrut Anubhav, when can you catch that point when the milk becomes the curd? You know it has become the curd. You know it is becoming the curd. But can you see it happening? Can you catch the point where the sleep becomes the waking? Or can you catch the point where the waking becomes the sleep, transforms into sleep? Can you catch that point where man becomes the husband? Or vice versa? You know there a point exists. But can you catch it? And therefore it is said, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotmana prakashate. This Atma which is hidden in all beings, it reveals itself. It is not an act of creation. It is not an act of creation. The self, it's a self revelation. You are seeking, but a point comes when you reach the unmanifest. You can't seek anymore. How can you seek? Unmanifest means zero. Unmanifest means nothingness, void. With this knowledge, if we approach the void, Supreme will reveal. If we are subjective oriented and we approach the void, the Supreme Self will reveal, the Atman will reveal. But to whom? Not to you, me, and who are, what you call, slaves to the senses, slaves to the cup of water which is next to us, which we need to keep sipping while listening to the lecture. Saying this, I forgot my cup of water today. See? So, for an enslaved mind, this self-revelation is not possible. And therefore, the previous two verses, what did they say? Raise yourself, go back to the original cause. The cause of the senses and the sense objects is the mind. The cause of the mind is the intellect. Cause of the intellect is the total intellect. Cause of the total intellect is the unmanifest. Cause of the unmanifest or beyond the unmanifest is the Supreme Person. And beyond the Supreme Person, there is none. The buck stops there. So that Supreme Person, how come he's always, I am that? My intellect is saying I am that. But the moment class finishes, we go, hey yaar, when I was small, I was so cute, I don't know what happened to me now. Then revisit the marriage, wedding ceremonies, revisit when the first child was born, revisit when the second child was born, and all the memories that you have collected. Such person, mind is cluttered. Mind is not empty. If mind is over full, no creativity can happen. You need an empty mind for creativity to happen, new ideas to erupt. If that is true for just for creative ideas, it's even more so for the self. You don't create the creative ideas, they reveal themselves. The idea reveals. To Newton, apple has been fallen hundreds of millions of times. But Newton, who was available for him, it was a revelation. Similarly to our rishis, who were available to that Supreme Person. How to put that experience into words, I don't know. They remain themselves. They keep their mind empty and revelation happens. That revelation is called the Upanishads at a gross level. Upanishad is the only language which can succinctly, clearly, without any ambiguity, and conclusively tell you that you are not nothing, you are. And give you the pathway also. Drishyate tvagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhi. And this self reveals only to those seers. And who are these seers? These seers are who have purified themselves, who have made their intellect so subtle, so fine, that and so sharp that that they are able to suss. I'm using it from objective point of view. They are able to suss the presence of the Supreme that they are. Suss it out. But it's from, as I said, it is from our point of view. But the self reveals. If we want to say that I am doing meditation, I am doing this sadhana, I am contemplating, therefore the word suss it out. It's between the contradictions. You know there is a point between man and husband, where the man forgets man and becomes the husband. Catch that point? You know there is a point where the waker concludes and the sleep begins. Catch that point? Sleep is not waking, waking is not sleep, so contradiction. Dive between the contradictions. That is the job of the intellect. There is individual experience, there is total experience. We have studied just now. Make yourself available to that higher. There's no thought will not work. You have to give up thinking. Because how one can be all. I can give you example of ocean and wave and gold and ornaments, mud and pots, but they are only examples. You have to come to believe that you are the one in whom the entire possibility is existing. That is total self. Unless you don't accept that you are the one, then keep beating around the bush from one scripture to the next, from one meditation to the next, from one yoga session to next yoga session. It's not going to lead anywhere. It's like trying to catch your tail and reaching nowhere. And yet, throughout that process, you were always, the self was always. It requires a special disposition. Therefore, these verses, they were the prakriya. They were the prakriyas, the techniques, the methodology. By taking any of these, by taking these thoughts, we can go from the gross to the subtle to the causal and beyond. Do we have the courage? Are we available for that challenge? And therefore, the Lord of Death, he's not stopping with that. He's saying in the next verse, in the 14th verse, Uttishthata jagrata prapya varan nibodhata kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam pathastat kavayo vadanti. Uttishtha jagrata prapya varan nibodhata. Arise, uttisthata, awake, jagrata, prapya varan nibodhata. Prapya varan, varan means those who already know it. So it is not something, if no teach, very rare you will find, very rare. Because the ego comes in between. We have to come to a altar. We have to come to a guru. We have to come to a teacher. What is the quality of a teacher? The quality of the teacher is he is established in the Brahmatmaikya Bodh. He is established in the Brahma, the infinite, the Brahmatma, Brahma, Atma. Atma is this. He is established in the union of the individual and the infinite consciousness and knows that it is a Aikya. Aikya means it is one. Bodha, he knows it as its own direct experience, not an intellectual appreciation. To such teachers, this can be known. But first, the steps were arise, awake, stop sleeping. Sleeping is when we are asleep to our true nature and we are awake to the whole world of variety. In other words, we are awake to the samsara. And once we become awake to the samsara, at that time, birth, death, past, future, joy, sorrow, gain, loss, victory, defeat, all this becomes the norm of life. One who is caught up in this norm, he is unavailable to the higher. Why even higher? Such a person is unavailable to a teacher even. When a seeker is born, the teacher appears. But we are lost in the samsara. We seek teachers who prove that their conclusion about the world is correct. We go and approach such teachers, or we want to find such teachers. Many people nowadays are saying that I have made him my teacher, I have made him my teacher. Bhaiya, the teacher makes the student. Teacher selects the student. Student doesn't decide who is the teacher going to be. What qualification does the student have? So if he is a student of the world, how I can make more money, how can I do options trading, how can I buy more property, how can I get married, how can I have children, how can I be a successful husband, how can I be a successful wife, or happy husband and happy wife. And they want answers to these, and they go to master. You see, wherever. From the day I have arrived, which was on 10th, every day only these questions are coming. One after the other family people. Nobody has given me one. Yesterday, day before yesterday, my friend in Newcastle gave me a good but that good news was also about family only. That Swamiji, my house foundation has been laid. Swamiji, my daughter is second time pregnant. Swamiji, I have found a girl, introduced a girl to my son, and now they can go out and find out if they are compatible. This was the only good news. What was it about? The world. Everything else, everyone else, same rigmarole. From the day I come, from 10th onwards, no, not 10th, 11th onwards. Lucky I came at night. If I was in the morning, they would have started coming in the morning only. And for 1 year, I have been counseling them. After 3 months, back to square one. Same questions, same doubts, same frustrations. So everything that you have tried to educate them, a new way to look at life, it has gone under the carpet. It has got washed away in the river of life. Why? Their attention is not on a new way of looking at life. Their attention is on that I am this body, I got my family, I got my children, I have to do this, I have to do that, and that is not taking place. Why is it not taking place? We have spoken to Swamiji, we have shared it. Why still it is not happening? We want to get our jobs of the world, become successful by being in the company of teachers, sannyasis, masters, acharyas, siddha purushas. We want to grind the axe of the world. We want to become successful in this world. Nothing wrong with it. But we are in an Upanishad. We are facing death. We are studying from death. And he's saying, arise. So those who have come to know, they say, arise. Arise to your Atmic self. Arise to your true nature. In the dream, some mishap happens and you wake up, isn't it? Here, arise also could mean stand up to your convictions, the new convictions, the understanding. If we are understanding that we are the infinite self, stand up to it, live up to it. Have the courage to be that in every moment of your existence. Many times you will slip. Keep standing up, keep standing up. Keep rising to that worthy goal or destination. Because if you go back, you are going to get what you have been getting. In this world, nothing is created new. What do you mean by nothing is created new? New furniture, new house, new buildings, new clothes. Is the same 5 elements recycled over and over and over again. Just like in Singapore, the sewage water is recycled, purified, and given you to drink. Just like they come and take your clothes in those big bags, wash it, iron it, and recycle it. What are those clothes? This body is a cloth only. Once it dies, again it will be recycled. Elements are the same. What is it made up of? What is this body made up of? Space, air, fire, water, earth. It will be recycled. So there is nothing new in this world. The problems, if this is the problem of the ephemeral, if our attention is on the ephemeral means changing. If our attention is on the changing, the problem of the changing is not going to end. Any new ways you find to engage with the changing, the problems of the changing are continue to pursue. They will not leave you. I'm looking at myself and smiling. After all this wonderful, how quickly the mind suddenly goes out into the world. Uttishthata Jagrata. Arise. Arise from the slumber. You know, when we go to sleep every night and when we wake up, we are awake. But we have not arisen from the bed. We keep rolling in the bed, our eyes are closed, and we want to just take that extra dive into the sleep. Arise, get out of the bed. And don't arise from the bed. Oh, अब क्या करेंगे? What is there to do? Oh, this is not there. Oh, that is not there. Oh, again my toothpaste is finished. Oh, again the water is so hot. Only complain, complain, complain. No, arise, get out of the bed with enthusiasm, with inspiration. That inspiration, if you are following the world, if you are seeking the world, if you are trying to possess the world, and you are creatively finding new ways of possessing the world, it will exhaust you. And next day you will not be fresh. But when it is about the self, like a spring, you will be out of the bed. Why? No time to waste. Arise. And then after arising, don't awaken. I wish I could go back to sleep. No. Be awake. Be awake to the truth. Once we have come to know that fire burns, then you are always alert. You're always alert. You're always vigilant when you are in the presence of fire, isn't it? Not to get burnt. So you negotiate in the best of the manners not to get burnt by the fire and yet get the job done. Exactly the same way. This ephemeral world, this changing world is like that fire. You know there is no solution there. You know there is no answer there. So when you have become available by the grace of God, you are here, or you have become exposed to this knowledge. Now that you are available to that truth, now you will do everything in your capacity as long as you are attentive of that truth. Automatically, spontaneously, you will start negotiating through this world of change in such a manner that you don't forget your focus, don't remove your focus from that self. This capacity comes about only by the grace. Initially you may try, but again when you try, individuality is coming up. But it's directly proportional. Your attention on the self that I am is directly proportional to your ability to negotiate through the world of change so that you don't get burned by the world. Will pain come? Yes. Will accidents happen? Yes. Will you lose job? Yes. Will you get increment in salary? Yes. But nothing matters. Your attention is not on that. Your attention is on the self. Uttishtata Jagrata. Prapya varan nibodhata. And how do you do this after you arise? How do you awaken yourself? You awaken yourself prapya varan nibodhata by reaching the realized masters, great teachers, coming to their feet, coming at their feet, coming in their presence. In Kaivalya Upanishad, many years ago we did it. Samit Panihi Shrotriya Brahmanishtham. There it is told. Whom should you approach? Shrotriya Brahmanishtham. Brahmanishtham, I told you, Brahmatmaikya both, the one who is established in the truth and has direct experience of the truth as I. Every human being in this planet is already that. Some listen to it, oh really, I am that, and next moment they'll forget it, become objective. Some people abide in it, but in samadhi. Some people abide in it and are unable to explain, articulate that supreme truth. They are blissful, they are silent. You can see that divine is expressing, but you ask, they are unable to explain. Yet there is another category of realized masters, and they are able to articulate, explain, give examples, and they are called Shrotriya Brahmanishtha. Shrotriya, those who are well versed in the scriptures, they are well versed in the art of articulation of that truth to the qualified seeker. We studied Srimad Bhagavatam. Shukdev Ji Maharaj for 16 years, he didn't utter one word. From the time he was born till 16 years age, he did not utter one single word. Many people would have thought, they say he's the son of Maharishi Vedvyas. What son? He can't even say anything, but he was in bliss. But waiting for that divine moment when his glory will spread far and wide. And there Parikshit was waiting, and he came. And he asked the question, what should one do when he has got only 7 days left to live? And that great young 16-year-old master, self-realized, Shrotriya Brahmanisht. When did he study the scriptures? When he was in the womb of his mother, from his father. Started. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Adi Shankaracharya. And that Srimad Bhagavat has all the techniques, methodologies in the story form, but if you have the eye, all the techniques are given there. Shankaracharya, why he was so urgent, he arose and he awoke. Uttishta Jagrata, Prapyavaran, where did he go? He went to Gaudapada. Govindapad and Gaudapad. Govindapad and his teacher was Gaudapad. Within few years, he mastered all the scriptures. Because the prophecy was that he is going to give up, his life is only for 16 years. 8 years old, he left his house. In 8 years, he mastered all the scriptures, mastered yoga, was sitting in meditation, had no doubt as to who he is. He was preparing for death, the impending death, because the astrologers had declared that when he is 16, he will die, meaning the soul will leave the body. And he was in Badrinath at that time, waiting for that moment to appear. And instead of the moment, who appeared? Shrotriya Brahmanishta Mahatma came. Maharishi Vedvyas came. Gave him Till now, son, you have lived for yourself. Now you live another 16 years, but not for yourself, but for the world. And that young boy of 16 years started his experience of the self. He started putting out in words, started articulating, became the greatest debater, wrote all the bhashya that we are, each verse that we are seeing here, and the explanation in Sanskrit is by Adi Shankaracharya. See? Composed innumerable number of compositions. Sfurna, a creative dam was, the self is the most creative one. It's creating in its presence, the whole creation is ever new. What could be more creative than the creator himself or his father, the supreme person? And once you are established in that, and once that creative dam of the mind, what was the dam? Why it was not happening before? Because the mind was leaking into the world. What was the dam? We controlled the senses, we controlled the mind, or we merged the senses into the mind, mind into the intellect, intellect into the total intellect, total intellect into the unmanifest. And we have come to be the supreme person. And now from that same mind, the creativity expresses. In Adi Shankaracharya's case, the Shankar Bhashya. In Valmiki's case, he was a dacoit, he was a murderer after hundreds of years of meditation. And one day he just got this, some realization happened, and he saw the two birds and he could hear their language. And Narad Muni came and he said, in this meter you start writing. And what should I write? I only know my kingdom. And he wrote the Valmiki Ramayana. Transformation from a murderer, dacoit, looter into a great rishi. Became the first poet of this creation. Valmiki is the first poetry. See? That possibility is within us also. That possibility is lurking within us also. Then what should we do? Uttishta jagrata prapya varan nibodhata. Arise, awake, and be available to a teacher who is Shrotriya Brahmanishtha, well versed in the scriptures with the backing of his self-realization. This is the way. Beautiful, no? When you see the scheme, with how much compassion the mother scripture is presenting all these ideas to us, just no words. You just become silent. Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam patastat kavayo vadanti. The wise say, now here a caution is given. What do the wise say? Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya. That this path, the path of coming to be the self, or to the self, not to be the self, coming to the self. This path where individual consciousness is transformed into infinite consciousness, where the individual self transmutes into total self and beyond. This path is Kshurasya Dhara. It is a double-edged sword. You slip from it, you will be wounded. That's what they're saying. Meaning, wounded means what? Now, Uri Bapre, I will get wounded. Might as well not start on this path only then. No, wounded means you will fall back into the world. The wound is the world only. The wife comes and barks. The child comes and demands. The boss comes and sacks. The government taxes. Everywhere you are bleeding. Giving attention to multiplicity is bleeding. Giving attention and being that one is what your true nature is. This journey from multi-pointedness to the one, it is Kshurasya Dhara. It is like the sharp edge of a sword in that path. It is difficult. It is difficult and hard to tread. Why it is difficult and hard to tread? Tell me, how many years you have been listening to the scriptures? You studied the Bhagavatam, you studied we did Ishavasya Upanishad, we did Kaivalya Upanishad, now we are doing Katha Upanishad, we have done Bhagavad Gita. So many scriptures we have covered. Everywhere the same truth was being told. Same truth is being expounded through every scripture. Why have we not realized it yet? Kshurasya Dhara. How difficult is it? See here when he says that Durgam Patastat, which is a very difficult and hard path. Why? Tell me, have we been able to conquer our senses yet? Have we conquered our tongue? If bad smell comes, do we react? If there is a shrill noise, do we react and scream out, hey, stop that? Or are we equanimous? How difficult it is to stop the pursuit of the world in the name of duty. Ultimate duty is to know the self. Arise is doing. Arise is karta and bhokta. You have to first arise. Oh, I am sleeping. Oh, I am tired of this. Oh, I have had enough of this world. I need to wake up. Okay, arise, get up. Okay, now what? Awake. Awaken to that possibility. Getting up is one thing, but you are still lying in the bed. You have to arise. See? So how difficult it is to control our senses? How many times we have been doing japa? Has the mind come under control? Does the mind do what we ask it to do? Is it behaving itself? Is it contemplating in the direction that we have asked it to contemplate? And for last 10, 15, 20 years who are listening, you always nod, yes, Swamiji, yes, Swamiji, you know the answers, you are not at the right place, you come out with the right answers when questioned. So that is all good. But what about abidance? What about being? And therefore, after we wake up, after we have, after we wake up, after we get out of the bed, after we arise, then it is possible for that person only when he comes to the feet of the Master, comes to the feet of the scriptures. We cannot study the scriptures by our own. If a husband is reading the scriptures, he will understand God only knows what. Masters, teachers, acharyas, they teach you because they have followed a parampara, a lineage. Sadashiva samarambham Shankaracharya madhyamam Asmad acharya paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. From where did this lineage of ours come from? From Lord Shiva. Till where? Till the present Acharya. Who is our Acharya? Swami Anubananji. From him we studied the scriptures. Where did he learn from? He learned it from his teacher. Where did his teacher learn from? He learned it from his teacher. Who was the first teacher? Lord Shiva himself. That is why our scriptures are not a creation of a human being. Upanishads are not a creation of a human being. They are aparusheya. They are not a creation of an individual. They are revelations, divine revelation. So when we are with the teacher, when we are with the acharya, we are continuously reminded, banged into position again and again. You are that. How I will see to it how you don't listen. Sometimes strong words, sometimes cajoling, sometimes compassionate, sometimes a push here and a push there, but continuously again and again, every class, every satsang, it is hammered into the student so that he does not forget and get burnt by the world. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a few seconds. Hari Om, Hari Om.